Scrapped cashless debit card did not live up to potential in Ceduna, social workers say. Monday, 6th of June at 7:13 a.m. The abolition of cashless debit card and CDC for welfare recipients after a critical report has been welcomed by some of the communities where it was trialled. The new federal government is axing the trial of the cashless debit card. Welfare recipients could not use the money on all card to buy alcohol or gamble. Social worker in Ceduna, one of the trial locations, says it failed to meet its potential. The report of the Australian National Audit Office found that the Department of Social Services had not been able to show the program was meeting its objectives. Citing to the report, the new Federal Minister for Social Services, Amanda Rishworth, said briefings had been held to discuss terminating the CDC. The former coalition government spent more than $170 million on the privatised cashless debit card money that could have been spent on services locals needed, she said. Since 2016, the CDC, which could be not directly used to buy alcohol, which could not be used to buy alcohol or for gambling, has been trialled across the country, including Ceduna in South Australia, the Goldfields in West Australia, and the Northern Territory, also in Queensland in Bundaberg, Hervey Bay, the few areas. In Ceduna, its legacy has been polarising, with the policy popular with the incumbent politicians while being criticised by frontline service providers. Remarkable potential overshadowed by problems. Michelle Jacobson, who worked in social services in Ceduna for more than a decade and supported clients placed on the card, said while there was high hopes for the card when it was introduced, cracks soon emerged. Once we got through the teething issues, there was remarkable benefit to the people who were suffering from the issues that the card was introduced for, Ms. Jacobson said. However, there was a demographic that didn't suffer from those issues, who were disadvantaged by the card. Mr. Jacobson said things did not improve for most people on the card. Unfortunately, if you're not going to address the reason why people needed it to be on such a controlled card, then the card itself is not going to work. There are thousands of workarounds for anything, she says. One example is that somebody would sell their cashless debit card money for less than cash. I'll give you $150 for $100 cash. The desperation of having the cash outweighed their need for money. No training for social workers. Ms. Jacobs said social workers had to act as a middleman between clients and Indu, the bank that stored their restricted income despite having no direct access to the system. We were having to go through 3 people before we could actually assist the client, she said. We didn't have access to anything. There was no training. We weren't actually employed by the bank. The client had an email address. They had to have access to a phone, and a lot of our clients, for various reasons, wouldn't have regular access to those things. To have all that infrastructure put in place for a card and then scrap it is disappointing. It's a big waste of money. MP calls for the CDC expansion. Ceduna's federal representative, Liberal MP Rowan Ramsey, said that he was alarmed by the government's moves to scrap the CDC. My general conversation on the ground in Ceduna is that it's making a difference, Mr. Ramsey said. It's all very well to say that it doesn't work and that it doesn't work, but I think you should have a very good idea of what you're going to do next if you remove the supports that sit in place at the moment, and I am not convinced that anybody knows what to do next. Mr. Ramsey said he considered that the CDC to be a success and would like to see it implemented further. I'm disappointed personally that it hasn't gone wider across Australia at this stage, he said. I haven't seen that audit report yet, but I would be interested as to whether they've taken general public opinion into play. It's not a cure-all, but it's making a difference, and we should keep it. And that card, everyone had to go on it. And what was happening is if the Scott Morrison, if he had got in again in the next, like that election that we just had, they were going to bring it in for everyone, including pensioners. It means you can only access 20% of your payment in cash, and 80% was on this card. And apparently this company Inju, a lot of big companies and people well known have shares in this company. I'll just leave it at that. So it was it did help, yes, it did help a lot of people, but it did have a lot of disadvantages to people. So it's there needs to be a system in place, but there also needs to be support for those people. So yeah, it's very sad that this stuff is happening, you know. It's a lot of money wasted, so I just hope that people can get the help that they need. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.